Well, here you go. Here's your brand new gear case. Get a load of that. What's up, guys? Chris Brown here again, NoNonsenseKnowHow. Today, I'm a little pissed off, and this video might be getting sent right over to Tractor Supply. Check me out here. I just picked up another B7500 tractor. This thing's all hammered up and needs a ton of work. That's another video in itself. But I got a brand new County Line 48-inch tiller from Tractor Supply today, and I want to show you a few things that I find extremely unacceptable for a brand new unit. I understand it's Tractor Supply. This is kind of a budget tiller. You can definitely get higher end stuff. My tiller I used to have was actually made in Italy. This says it's made in USA, but it's all Chinese components on it. It says right on both the gearboxes, made in China. And bear in mind here, even though this is a budget tiller, it retails for $1,700 plus tax. Here we go. All right, to start with the very minor things first, and then we'll go into the extremely unacceptable stuff. I get it, you get some paint chips on it, but as you peel this back, this paint's all bubbling and rusted pretty bad. Sitting out in the sun and the elements. Next thing is these seals, I actually put grease all over mine because they were so dry rotted that I think they're going to start leaking right away, because you could just see that they were. I wish I left them. I already coated them with grease, but the seals right here, over here, and on the other side. Now, here's the big problem. These are shipped with no gear oil in this gear case or the side gear case over there. So I popped this off, and, well, we'll go into the vent problems next, but inside I notice a little bit of moisture on the steel in there. That's not good. You don't want moisture in your gearbox. So I went ahead and popped the 4 9/16 head bolts off on this back cover. Popped this off, and alright, cover's rusted. No big deal, it's thick enough. But look inside of this. You can see I was already dragging my fingers in here. The whole bottom of this thing's filled with rusty sludge water. Do you really want that going through your gearbox? And if you come over to the other side, look at the inside of this gearbox. This is brand new. You see that bearing over behind the gear? I can't get you a good view, but I guarantee the one right over there, I guarantee that bearing has rust and pitting on the bottom of it, and it's going to be failing very prematurely. So when I pop the vent out, look at the bottom. It's all rusted, and this thing actually doesn't flow at all. This is supposed to relieve pressure if crankcase pressure builds up, and so it doesn't blow your seals out. Look, I got compressed air. Nothing. I'm pulling the trigger right there. See that? So that needs some attention. This one I already blew out and cleaned out and got clean, and you can see now this one actually flows. So that's good. But I guess that's not their fault so much, but you definitely want to clean your vents out because these need to be able to breathe. And now I really shouldn't have to do this on a brand new unit, but let me pop this off and see what it looks like inside of here. You gotta be kidding me. Well, here you go. Here's your brand new gear case. Get a load of that. Unbelievable. Obviously, this thing's been sitting around for several years. Got moisture, water, and severe rust on the bottom of this. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be alright, but you don't think those bearings... The gears could probably take it, honestly. But you don't think those bearings are going to fail prematurely now? Alright guys, well, some good news. After reaching out to the company, they were actually warrantied out these gearboxes for me. Sent me some new ones. Just popped the covers off of these, and you can see just a little bit of patina rust in there, but the gears and most importantly the bearings are not rusted inside of this cover. Now this one actually had a little bit of oil in the bottom of it, like it was like filled up to here with a touch of very light oil, but no rust and water in that cover. And you can see these gears and bearings look beautiful. This is how a brand new gearbox should look, not what I was looking at before. So I gotta say, it was really cool that they they were able to send me this, because this is, I think, forget if I said it before, but this is over $700 for this gear case, and this one's like I think $430 or something like that. So these are expensive, and if a bearing goes and wipes out the gear set, you're talking a lot of money. So I didn't want to. I know I might be being a little perfectionist or picky, should I say, with this stuff, but if you spend this kind of money, you expect to not have rusted gears. So I guess the takeaway from this video is, if you're going to buy one of these tillers, or any tiller for that matter that's brand new, you might want to get yourself a bore scope like this and just take a peek inside, because who wants rusted up bearings on a brand new unit? And the second thing is, yes, they really have to start shipping these with lube, or at least coating them with a heavy-duty anti-corrosive lubricant. All right, couple more important notes here as I'm putting these gearboxes back on. This is definitely something you want to look for if you own one of these. This drive shaft here, you know, it slips right straight through the gearbox, and you can slip it in from the other side. I've put this gearbox on with the 4 bolts on the bottom and 2 bolts on top. They're just all loose, sitting there, so I can rock that back and forth if need be. And then this side box is only held on with this bolt and that bolt up here, which are also loose. But look at the shaft alignment on this. Wow. So this might explain why my other one had a bearing failure so prematurely in it. So check that out. Yeah, see the cage that separates all those balls from each other inside that bearing is all shredded and mangled. Because yeah, I bet what they do from the factory is they just pull this over with a pry bar and shove it in there, which it does go in. I actually just did that a second ago, but I'm gonna take this back off, elongate these holes a little bit so I have some adjustment in there. And then you know what else I'm going to do on this one? I don't like that this side box is only held on with 2 half-inch bolts on the top. Of course, it's mated to the shaft with 4 bolts down here on this large flange. A lot of structural integrity there, but I'm also going to drill out this 3/8 bolt hole all the way through this half-inch plate steel, and I'm going to make these sink through so it has at least 4 bolts holding it to the chassis. All right, here's what I settled on for alignment. I secured down the 6 bolts holding this gearbox on, since there really wasn't any play in those, and I didn't want to have to elongate 6 holes. And by the way, to get this shaft out, forget if I mentioned this, but you pull this retainer ring out and washer on this side, and then you can slide the shaft out, because this is actually reversible. You can flip this gearbox over and then reverse the tines, and you'll have reverse tillage. But anyway, on this one over here, check out this. This is much better alignment now. You see that with the boxes clamped in place, that slides in and out, bottoms out all the way in there freely. And now you can see my holes. They need to be elongated quite a bit on that side and right here. And once I elongate those, I'm going to drill these straight in, so that way it has more support than from the factory. And I'll just use this little double carbide grinder to do that, carbide bit. One might argue it would have been a better idea to relocate the center gearbox to fix this alignment versus the outer, since you could move this an inch to the left or right, and the PTO shaft has 2 universal joints, so it wouldn't really matter. And why risk relocating that one and then throwing the alignment off on the bottom? So that did cross my mind, and I said, you know what, let me check the alignment on this lower shaft after it's, on the tiller shaft after it's been relocated. And with that flange bolted up tight, I went over to this side and loosened this flange up, loosened each one a little bit at a time, and you can see this gap is perfectly uniform all the way around. So as I tighten that down, it's not, you know, if one side got real big and the other side got tight, then I'd say, all right, I got alignment issues down here too, because each side of these have 2 giant ball bearings, and with the shaft going in there, and you don't want to load those up with misalignment either, otherwise you'll be replacing those or possibly the gear set in this side. It's funny with this garbage paint, it goes on really thick, but if you see one little spot and you start picking at it, it'll just keep going pretty much, and it's just holding all the moisture in between the metal and the paint. And you can see that one little bubble patch turns into this whole thing here, and I mean, it's like you could go crazy with it. So I just wanted to at least take the bubbles off and hit it with some paint, but look at that. It just keeps going. After seeing the alignment issue of the shaft on my other tiller, I decided to revisit my original tiller And so same thing, I took this circlip off, which actually broke in half coming off. Took the washer out of this side here, and you can't really get the shaft out of there. It's because there's this shield on here. You can't grab it with anything. I tried getting in there with like a screwdriver to get it moving, but instead I just slit this sleeve open, this protective sleeve, and I'll be able to put that back on if need be. And as I suspected, this shaft is pretty seized. I put these channel locks on here and hit this with a hammer real hard over, and it's not budging at all. After removing the 6 bolts on this gear case, sliding that out, I was able to get the shaft out. I'll put those all back in place. Of course, this center gearbox does have some wiggle play, but even within that play, no matter what, look at the alignment, just as I thought on that side. It is not aligned properly, so when I put this rear case on and then bolted these down, that's putting a big load on these bearings and those bearings because of the contact area inside of here. So I'm faced with the same situation. I can move this to align it or move the gearbox. Again, the center gearbox is the safer bet, but not going to do that again in this video. It's going to be the same darn thing. So I'll do that, and I'm glad that I took this cover off of here too and just put that slit so that way I can service this in the future. You can see where this is starting to wear in there. Eventually this could get stripped in a long-term future, but if you want to keep this greased, lubed, and sliding in and out to ever check your alignment, it's nice having that sleeve off of there. Well, anyway, I hope this video helps anybody else out making a choice if they want to buy a county line tiller or not. And if you do buy one brand new, definitely be sure to check for these things. Maybe your local Tractor Supply actually keeps their implements under a roof. They definitely should. This video ran on too long. I'm done complaining about my new tiller. Give it a thumbs up if you found it helpful. And definitely comment down below. Let me know if you've bought any higher end units and had this problem, or if they ship those with gear oil or any of the above. Anything of interest. But yeah, till next time, Chris Brown here. No nonsense, no how. I'll see ya.